We'll get started with a land acknowledgement that Missoula County acknowledges this event takes place in the Aboriginal territories of the Salish and Kalispel people. And we'll begin with a pledge. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Is any public announcements? Okay, public comment on items not on the agenda. Strohmeyer thinks that we're going to be out of here by 2:08. What do you say?
I am hoping for that.
Okay. Current claims list received as of May 5th, 2022 to May 18th, 2022 by the Commissioner's Office totals $3,728,947.45. We have one hearing today, so John Hart.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. You may recall on April 7th in this same room, you passed a resolution of intent to create a rural special improvement district to do some road improvements on 29th and North Avenue West. That was the first step. You passed that resolution, and that was the first step to creating the RSID. After that meeting, then the Clerk and Recorder's Office made sure that that resolution was published twice in the Missoulian, once on April 17th and again on April 24th as required by law. And they mailed by certified mail a copy of the resolution of intention to all of the property owners in that proposed district. And the mailing, coupled with the first date of publication, April 17th, started a 30-day protest period where any property owner in that proposed district could provide written protest to you, the commission, against creating this RSID. And the RSID, for the record, is 8505. The Clerk and Recorder received no written protests by the May 17th deadline for doing so. However, somebody could come as late as today and offer comments, of course, on the whether or not this district should be created. And the purpose of this hearing today is to hear and pass on those protests. But having received no written protests, there isn't anything to pass on. And now the next step in the process is for you to consider passing a resolution creating the district. And because there were no protests, and assuming there aren't any, all the residents aren't waiting out in the hall and they're going to rush us right now. My recommendation is that you do pass this resolution creating RSID 8505, and that will complete the fifth step in the process of creating an RSID. The County Finance Department right now is trying to secure a bond to and an interest rate on the bond such that we can finance part of the improvements as proposed in the resolution of intention. At such time as we can get a bond, then we will do a levy of assessment, another resolution, and a third and final hearing. And that will complete the process of creating this district, and there'll be an assessment on the property tax bills for all the property owners in the district.
And then would work commence?
Work can commence. Actually, I don't want to speak for Public Works, but I think Public Works is prepared to do some or all of the work this season.
Right.
Even before the assessments appear on the 2022 tax bill, which first installments due on December 1st. Right. So they might just do that work and then get reimbursed when the bond is sold and some of the property tax payments start to come in.
So if I understand it right, you and Shane did a lot of work to put this process together in a way that was more user-friendly for our neighbors. And I think with the idea, and I was on the outside of it, that it would made it more user-friendly for the neighbors, but also for the next set of folks who want to do a similar thing in a different neighborhood. The path may be clear with more obvious benchmarks, a template. Is that correct, or am I seeing it with rose-colored glasses?
That's generally correct. It's the next time a neighborhood or a group of citizens asks us to create an RSID, it'll definitely be easier for me because I'm more familiar with the law. I'm more familiar with the complexities of the finance component if the residents want to finance a portion of the improvements. And I can't say with confidence on this, that myself and others in the county, notably in the Public Works Department, we're a little bit more fluent in being able to forecast for people a timeline and what to expect, and sort of help them weigh their options, and the details of how they might want to create a district for themselves.
Great, that's wonderful. I'm just imagining that as construction costs continue to skyrocket and our ability to meet road needs everywhere decreases because of a lack of revenue, that this may be a more used format than it has been in the past.
Yeah, I know Shane Stack's on the line, and I'm sure he would love to offer some.
Shane, what do you think?
I would agree with everything John said. And yeah, I think you're right. In fact, we were up in Sealy yesterday, and Eric mentioned that there's another group in the Sealy area considering an RSID. We've had discussions with folks in the Lolo area. So I think you're spot on that this is potentially one of the tools that we end up having to use more just because of lack of funding.
Well, good job for you guys making that tool sharp.
Yeah, and let me just add one thing. This RSID is for road improvements, but you can create an RSID for all sorts of other public improvements, including, if you have a neighborhood park that you want to, have more funding for, that is an option. And other, water, sewer, those kinds of things are also an opportunity for an RSID.
Does maintenance on a park, would that count, or is it only capital improvements?
Nope. Maintenance on a park would be certainly appropriate. Especially if you made some capital improvements and then wanted to show that there would be revenue to maintain that investment in capital improvement going forward.
That's great.
But it could be a standalone maintenance
Yeah.
RSID for a park too.
Some folks who live near Rosecrest Park, which is kind of near Big Sky Park, and is more of a habitat wild area, but it backs up on people's houses, so they really wanted it mowed and cared for. But it isn't something we've ever done and don't really have staff to do. And a neighbor approached me the other day and I said, maybe y'all could do an RSID. And they seemed quite excited because it wouldn't cost that much money to have it mowed a couple times a year, but we don't have the staff to do it right now.
And it can be anywhere in the county.
It can be anywhere in the county outside of the city limits. But it has to involve publicly owned infrastructure.
Yeah.
It can't be for your own
No.
HOA park or your own sort of,
Gotta be county park.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, well, I am happy to.
Let's ask if there's any public comment, just to make sure.
Is there any public comment? Yeah,
Oh, look at
come
that.
on
Good
up.
job, John.
But actually, go ahead and state. And then
That one? Okay.
and your name too, please.
Nancy Eiler. I've been the chairperson so far of the ad hoc committee for this RSID. And I just want to thank all of you immensely. This has been a wonderful process, and it's so great that we can have this work done. We really had a bad street situation, unfortunately, and it's going to be so nice to get it fixed up. And all of you guys, Shane Stack, have done so much work to help us. Eric's job is probably mostly coming up, but you've all just been completely wonderful to work with. And I've been bragging all of you up to everybody I know about a fine example of government at work to help the people. So it's very, very nice. Thank you.
Thank you.
That is the most refreshing thing I've heard in so long. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Nancy. Any more comment? There's a 7361 or a 412 area code. Okay,
All right, I would move we pass this resolution to create Rural Special Improvement District 8505.
Second.
okay, any further discussion? All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Thanks.
I think I could hear the road equipment beginning.
Okay, any other business? Okay, we're adjourned.